You know, in the very first chapter of Genesis, tucked away in the grand story of creation, there's this one phrase. It seems so simple. It's just describing what the sun and the moon do. But what if that phrase wasn't about astronomy at all? What if it's actually the master blueprint for how reality itself is structured? From the entire cosmos, right down to our families, our work, and our own minds. Well, today, we're going to unlock that blueprint.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. And to rule the day and the night. The key word here is Memshala, to rule, to govern. This isn't just, passive shining. This is active governance. The Torah is telling us from the get-go that creation is built on two distinct but totally complementary governments. This isn't just a pretty description, it's a user manual for creating order. And we're about to see how this one little verse lays out a pattern that just repeats itself everywhere on every level of reality.
I want you to just picture the daytime world for a second. The sun comes up and bam, everything external just explodes into life. It's this cinematic blast of raw energy. This is the government of outward action. It's all about building, providing, going out into the world to make things happen, to gather resources. The sun's whole deal is expansion, pushing forward, engaging with everything out there. It's the energy of the market, the construction site, the public square. It's just pure manifest power.
And now contrast that with the moon coming up. The whole vibe changes, right? The world doesn't just stop, it shifts its entire focus. The moon's rule isn't with its own blazing fire, but with reflected light. Its domain is the internal world, the home, the quiet work of putting things in order, of consolidating. This is the government of inward management. It's the time when you take everything that was gathered and accomplished during the day and you give it structure, you give it purpose, you put it in its proper place. It's the energy of rest, planning, and integration.
So to really get this, we're going to walk through this verse on all four levels of understanding, what we call the pardes. We'll start at the surface, the pshat, the simple, beautiful, literal meaning. And on this level, it's just what it says. The verse is setting up this perfect cosmic rhythm. The sun gets its time to rule, and the moon gets hers. It's the fundamental clockwork of the entire universe.
And what's so cool about looking at it this way is that you see it's not two separate kingdoms fighting for control. It's a seamless cycle. It's a flow. Sunrise isn't a battle, it's a handover. The day government takes the reins. By noon, it's at full power. But then, as sunset rolls around, you see this smooth, graceful transition of authority. By midnight, the night government is at its peak, managing and organizing the internal world. It's this continuous, unbroken exchange between two totally different kinds of power, each one showing up exactly when it's needed.
All right, let's peel back another layer and go to the remez, the hint, because here the text is winking at us. It's suggesting that we're not just talking about morning and evening. We're talking about two fundamentally different types of governance, two modes of operation that you can find in pretty much any successful system you can think of.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly. The government of the day is all about outward, action, provision, expansion. It's the doing. The government of the night is all about inward, integration, management, consolidation. It's about organizing what has been done. One brings the stuff in from the outside, the other builds a home for it on the inside. Any healthy system, a business, a project, a person, it needs both of these to survive, let alone thrive.
So now we're going to take this giant cosmic principle and bring it down from the stars right into the most intimate space there is, the home. This is the drash, the practical, human application. This is where we see how this cosmic pattern is literally the blueprint for the family. And the Zohar doesn't beat around the bush. It makes the connection completely explicit. It says the rule of the day, that's the males. This maps one-to-one with that function we just talked about, the outward-facing role of provision. It's the job of going out into the day, the external world, to bring back resources, sustenance, protection for the household. It's that sun energy all focused on external action for the sake of the internal home.
And then the Zohar continues, the rule of the night, that's the females. And to explain it, it quotes this famous verse from Proverbs about the woman of valor. She rises while it is yet night and gives food to her household. Her domain is internal management. She takes the raw materials brought in from the day and turns them into an orderly, functioning home. She's the one who manages, organizes, and structures that internal world, making sure it's stable and that everyone inside can grow.
Now, this is so important. The Zohar is not describing a hierarchy. It's not saying one is better than the other. It's describing a cooperative system of absolute dependence. The daytime rule of providing is totally meaningless if there's no nighttime structure to receive it, to organize it, to make use of it. And the internal rule of management can't function if there's no flow of resources from the outside. The home is a mini-cosmos. It needs both governments working in perfect sync to create a stable, ordered world.
Okay, now we've arrived at the deepest level, the foundational layer of meaning. This is the sod, the secret. And here we're about to uncover the mystical engine that's driving this entire system. We're not talking about metaphors anymore. We're talking about the core mechanics of reality.
See, at the level of sod, day and night, sun and moon, they're the physical clothing for two primordial cosmic forces, the male principle, Zohar, and the female principle, Nikava. Zohar is the principle of giving, of expansive flow, of influence, and Nekava is the principle of receiving, of structuring, of containing, of taking that flow and manifesting it into something real. These are the two fundamental building blocks of everything.
Okay, this is the whole engine mapped out. So let's walk through it. Look at that first row. We've got it. The sun is the male principle. The moon is the female. Simple enough. Now let's go deeper. In the world of the Sephirot, the sun maps to Tiferet, beauty, harmony. It's a central hub of divine emotion and energy. The moon maps to the final Sephirah, Malchut, kingdom. This is where all that energy lands and becomes real. Okay, next row, the driving force. The sun's expansive day energy is driven by Chesed. That's unbounded kindness, pure flow. The moon's inward night energy is powered by Gevurah, discipline, structure, the power to contain. This is so fundamental, it's even reflected in how we talk about God. The masculine aspect is called the Holy One, blessed be He, the giver. The feminine aspect is the Shekhinah, the indwelling divine presence, the receiver. And at the highest level, these are cosmic systems, divine personas. Zer Anapin, the small face, is the sun system, and Nukva, the female, is the moon's.
So let's just quickly define those terms. Zir Anpin, the small face, you can basically think of it as the active, giving, daytime processor for the universe. It's the system that takes all of this divine energy, this light, this potential, and channels it down into our world. It's the great sun, the source of that expansive flow that makes everything else possible.
And then you have its essential partner, Malkut, the kingdom. It's always described as the moon because it has no light of its own. Its entire job is to receive the light from the sun, from Zir Anpin, and give it a home, give it a structure, make it real. Malkut is the nighttime manager that takes all that divine potential and organizes it, builds with it, and manifests it right here in our physical world. It's the throne that allows the king's influence to actually rest somewhere and have an effect. Without Malkut, all that light from Zir Anpin would just be unexpressed, chaotic potential.
Okay, I know, that was deep. But here is the most amazing part. This ancient, mystical blueprint isn't just some dusty old idea. It is the core architecture of successful systems today. So let's bring this profound secret right into the 21st century. How is this dual system architecture working in our lives right now? Well, just think about almost any strategy or RPG video game you've ever played. What do? You have two completely distinct modes, right? First, there's the daytime cycle. You go out into the world, explore, fight monsters, do quests, and bring back a ton of loot and resources. That is pure external provision. But then you go back to base for the nighttime cycle, organizing your inventory, crafting new armor, upgrading your buildings, and planning the next mission. You absolutely cannot succeed in the game without balancing these two modes. If you only do one, you fail. It's that simple.
Or let's get a little more serious. Look at system engineering. This is the exact same cosmic principle. Every big computer system has a day phase. That's its active online layer. It's processing user requests, handling transactions, it's facing the outside world. But then it always has a night phase, a background maintenance cycle. That's when it runs diagnostics, backs itself up, optimizes its databases, it reorganizes its internal world so it can function at its best the next day. It needs a government of action and a government of order. Same blueprint.
Two modes of rule, two governments. And they're not in conflict. They're not competing. They are partners. Partners in a perfect, essential, continuous dance. One gives, the other builds. One brings in the energy, the other gives that energy a home. One expands, the other consolidates. This is the secret to all sustainable order.
So, okay, we've seen this pattern in the cosmos, in our homes, in our video games, in our technology. Now, let's turn that lens inward. Because this blueprint, it's not just for them, it's for you. It's a diagnostic tool for your own life.
I mean, just look at any part of your life. In your personal life, there's a time for action and a time for reflection. In any project, you have the creative, let's throw ideas at the wall, expansion phase, and you have the logistical, let's make a spreadsheet, structuring phase. In a business, you have sales and marketing, that's your day team, out there bringing in business, and you have operations and finance, your night team, managing everything internally. Even learning, you have the day phase of gathering new info and the night phase of actually integrating it so you understand it. And in every single one of these, too much day leads to burnout and chaos. Too much night leads to stagnation.
So this is the ultimate question. This is what this ancient blueprint is asking you right now. Use this model as a diagnostic tool for your own life. Look at your job, your relationships, your health, your personal goals. Are you all expansion with no structure, constantly running around, starting new things but never organizing, never finishing? Or are you all structure and no action, perfectly organized, perfectly planned but stagnant, never actually going out there and bringing in new energy? Where do you need more balance?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardesh. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.